What's going on, my smell good guys? Your boy Rome Leggett's back again with another video. Yes, we back again. And welcome to He Smells Like Rome, where we talk about niche fragrances, where we're talking about some of the most hard to find luxury fragrances, and especially the fragrances that aren't talked about a lot on YouTube or Instagram. If you like that type of content, do me a favor. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon and share this video with your friends. All right, so you guys saw the title. This is my GQ fragrance video, and yes, that means gentleman quality. I wanted to show you guys some of my favorite fragrances that I consider GQ. Now, that might mean something different to a lot of you guys, but to me, GQ definitely means, a suave gentleman, someone that dresses nice, someone that loves wearing a suit, someone that takes care of themselves, grooms themselves, someone that's definitely romantic and a ladies' man, someone that's very gentle when it comes to his approach, but also very confident, without being brass or arrogant, someone that knows how to romance a lady, and of course, smells great all the time. So, if you're looking for those type of fragrances, buckle your seatbelt, because we're about to go on a ride. All right? Let's get it going. All right, guys, so I told you this is going to be a unique type of video, and I wanted to bring y'all something unique. Now, I don't know if, like I said before, I don't know if there's been a GQ video. I haven't seen one yet. So I wanted to give y'all some of my joints that I think are fantastic. And the first one I have is from Majda Bakali. This is Fusion Sacré. Oh my goodness, guys. Look at that beautiful bottle. Such a unique, artistic bottle. Very elegant and abstract at the same time. The fragrance, I think, you have to wear a suit with this fragrance. Matter of fact, all these fragrances I'm about to show you, you need to be wearing a suit with. They command a certain amount of attention. They are unique, abstract, and gorgeous fragrances. Fusion Sacré is unique because of this note of celery. That is, to my knowledge, only been done in this fragrance right here. I've never seen the note of celery, coffee, caramel done to perfection like this does. If you like a vibrant herbal caramel, almost a combination of vegetable meets gourmand, this is a fragrance you got to get your nose on. Fusion Sacré is definitely a fragrance you wear if you're trying to impress a female, and there's no better combination than wearing a nice suit and smelling great at the same time. So get this one in your collection. Definitely a GQ fragrance in my opinion. Fusion Sacré by Majda Bakali. The next fragrance is for my guys that I would consider love bourbon, whiskey drinkers. If you're sitting in, a gentleman's club, not that type of gentleman's club. I'm talking about, prestigious gentleman's club, maybe a smoker's club where you're sitting around talking about, your businesses, your next adventures, sipping on some bourbon, smoking a cigar, possibly wearing a smoker's jacket, or obviously a nice suit. You got to have this fragrance in your collection. This is from Scents of Wood, and this is Oud and Bourbon. This is one of my favorite fragrances, especially when I'm dressing up. This smells like roasted coffee, dark melted chocolate, with a warmed up glass of bourbon. Now, if you are a connoisseur of whiskey, you know that there's ways that you can drink whiskey, right? Now, if you ever had a smoked whiskey, you know what I mean. This is that fragrance. Combine that with a roasted coffee note. Now, I mean This coffee is being brewed over a cast iron pot with some wood chopped up under it. I'm talking about old school, like in the 1800s, how they used to brew coffee and how they used to brew um, like cocoa or even tea. This is one of the most upscale grown man fragrances in my collection, and this deserves to be in the GQ fragrance list. Get it? Telling you, if you want more details about this fragrance, go look at my fragrance review. All right, let's move on to the next one. The next fragrance in my list, man, this is definitely one of the fragrances that bring me back to when I started wearing suits. In my early 20s, living in Jersey City, you know, living in an urban area, suits weren't a big thing, right? It wasn't a big thing in my opinion. And I say that to say this: you have certain types of people you look up to, right? And the only people that I saw in my teenage years, my younger years, that wore suits were usually kingpins or pimps, right? And their suits were super loud, obnoxious, or just not my style. So me equating a suit was always to something that had to do with something criminal, right? Now, there's no slight to those guys, I'm not trying to drag on them. There's no slight on those guys. That was their situation, no judgment here. But that wasn't something that made me want to wear a suit. Let's fast forward to my early 20s. Met this gentleman that became a mentor of mine, and he always wore a suit. Even if he didn't wear a suit, he always wore something that was dressed up instead of dressed down. He always made sure that he was pressed. He always made sure that he looked presentable for wherever he was going. That was a lasting impression on me because the way he wore his suits, they were tailored to him. They weren't baggy. They weren't super bright or super loud. They were very neutral color suits that he had a little accent somewhere of some type of color, which was really cool to me. And I remember me going to get my first suit, and it was one of the days I was like, oh, this is going to be a fantastic day. I got my hair cut, you know, smelling good, smelling like lavender and oak moss, you know, feeling good. Went to go get my suit because I was going out on my first date actually with, which is now my wife. Paid with my own money, got the suit tailored to me, and I was looking fresh to death, y'all. And this fragrance right here, MDCI, this is the fragrance that reminds me of that day, because the fragrance that they have in here, the smell, reminds me of a modern day urban barbershop. This Chypre is one of the best fragrances I've ever smelled. And it just brings me back to the late 90s, early 2000s when, oh man, you know, when I was, you know, trying to wear a suit pretty much anytime I went out. And back then, if you went out to a club, you couldn't get into a club or lounge without wearing a suit or dressing up. Now, the reason I said this reminds me of that is because this Chypre has a very prominent lavender, oak moss, and plum that reminds me of when I used to go get my hair cut in Jersey City. The old school barbershops, you know, that been there since the mid 50s, you know, are still there to this day. And, you know, they've been passed on to their relatives. But when I was getting my hair cut from the age of probably 10 to, 20, this smell is what that smell was like. And man, it just reminds me of looking dapper, wearing a suit, getting a fresh haircut, and going on a date or going out to a club and feeling like $1,000,000. So if you want that in your life, you want a GQ fragrance, Chypre Palatine by MDCI is what you need in your collection. All right, let's go to the next one. The next fragrance house needs no introduction, but you cannot wear these fragrances without thinking suit or tuxedo, one of the two. I just think that this fragrance, if you're wearing a suit, you probably wear a suit without a tie. You know, got your collar nice and crisp, but you dressed up. And that fragrance house I'm talking about is Bodicita Victorious. And the fragrance I'm talking about is the newest fragrance in my collection, Alcif. Man, look at that bottle. That's a beautiful bottle. Oh my goodness. Alcif is definitely the fragrance that blew me away from a sample. I imagined myself sitting down, talking to some of my friends, making some deals that go along with my comedy show. And anytime that I'm going to make a deal, doing a business deal, I'm always in a suit. That's just me. I'm always trying to be in my best boss atmosphere or feeling. And this fragrance right here is elegant, is refined, and one of the best oud and raspberry combinations I've ever smelled. If you want a fragrance that has a Middle Eastern smell, but is very complementary to pretty much any weather, has a regal effect to it, but also has a Caribbean smell. Now, this reminds me of the Middle East and also the Caribbeans. The tropical fruit mixed with this tonka bean, combined with this agarwood note, it's just mesmerizing. I can't wait to review this fragrance for you guys. This is definitely a suit-worthy GQ fragrance. Get it in your collection. Alcif by Bodicita Victorious. All right, let's go on to the next one. All right, guys, we're back. Yes, we got another look. Like I said, this is my take on GQ fragrances. And there's different layers to it, right? So that was the GQ fragrances I would wear if I'm going out wearing a suit, you know. Those fragrances kind of represent a little bit more of an elegance, a little bit more of a softer touch when it comes to that type of GQ style, if you know what I mean. But this is my more relaxed, this is my more kind of streetwear, urban wear, or dressed down look, if that's the way you want to say it. Now, when I say dress down, I'm still dressing up. And I gotta match the fragrance to look the part, right? When it comes to the gentleman quality fragrances that I'm talking about here, these are more on the subtle side, more on the sides that are more mass appealing. Something that you would have to pick little by little to see something or smell something wrong with these fragrances. So let me show you the ones I'm talking about. The next one I wanted to talk to you guys about caused a lot of controversy when it came out, because everyone that smelled it said, oh, it smells like Ventus, the Ventus wannabe, or Elysium wannabe. And I'm here to tell you no. This is such a GQ fragrance. The pineapple opening is just fantastic. The fragrance I'm talking about, I'm referring to, is none other than Wilhelm's Morning Chest. Now, Morning Chest to me is an absolute stunner. It's such a cool, calm, relaxed fragrance. It doesn't need to try. You don't need to think about it. You just know that you're going to smell good. It's a refreshing opening of pineapple with other citrus notes. You got this birchwood in the mid, and also this really, really masculine leather fragrance. Oh man, this is one of the fragrances I'm always going for when I want to have a little bit of, you know, pep in my step. I want, you know, something that's just a feel-good fragrance. You got to get this one in your collection if you're looking for a citrus, slightly woody, leather-based fragrance. Absolute GQ fragrance, in my opinion. Morning Chest. Let's check out the other ones. Now, you guys know my love for Kajal perfumes. And if you saw, I did a video maybe a month ago when I mentioned this fragrance. And I wasn't impressed by it because I wore it in the wrong season. But man, oh man, was I wrong. Look at my face when I tell you, I was wrong about this one. Wearing this fragrance in the summer made me fall in love with it. And that fragrance is for Kajal Fragrances, and that is Forest. Man, the blast of citrus notes you get in the opening, lemon, lime, orange, grapefruit, not your typical, citrus notes that come and go in less than 20 minutes. No, this is on another level. This is, to me, the CEO fragrance. This is the guy that you making deals on the golf course, you taking your friends out on your boat, trying to convince some of the guys that you grew up with, you want to make some money with. This is that fragrance that you're gonna wear. Hands down, this is one of the best summer fragrances I've ever got my nose on. And it doesn't just sit in the summer. You can definitely wear this in the fall, the early part of the fall, when it's still between 60, 65, even 70 degrees. Man, it's fantastic. In the dry down, I think this vetiver in the dry down gives this fragrance a slight bit of elegance that convinced me that this was a GQ fragrance. If you need something that's going to make you feel like a boss, a fragrance that is not only one of those fragrances that has the uplifting feel like Morning Chest, but lasts forever, get this in your collection. One of my favorite GQ fragrances in the list, farthest from Kajal Perfumes. All right, let's go to the next one. Y'all ready? Y'all might not be ready for this one, but let's go. All right, so disclaimer, I don't have a full bottle of this, but I will. Don't worry, I'm gonna get one. But I could not leave this fragrance out because if I didn't say this already, I'll say it now. This fragrance not only made me fall in love with this house, but this is the reason why I made this video when I smelled this fragrance. This is Evasion Barber from MDCI. Now, I told you guys about Sheep Palatin. Sheep Palatin is my urban barbershop fragrance. This took a little bit more time to appreciate the elegance behind it. That is the perfect word to describe this fragrance. Mature elegance. Why I said this needed to be on the GQ list, and I'm pretty sure those who have smelled it would not argue, is because this fragrance has a certain pristine characteristic that goes behind it. When you say I got Evasion Barber on, it's always, oh, you smell fantastic. What is that you're wearing? Oh my goodness, that smells amazing. I need to get a bottle of that. That is usually the sentence or someone's conversation behind this fragrance. But when I smelled it for the first time and the second time, my nose and myself, I wasn't mature enough. I was around maybe, I think I was probably 29 when I smelled this. And I just got into niche fragrances at that point. And it just smelled unattractive and mysterious to me. I couldn't put my mind around why I didn't like it. I'll tell you why. The reason why, because this is an interpretation of an English barbershop from the 1940s, maybe 50s. I've never been to England. I've never been to an English barbershop. So I couldn't understand what their interpretation of aftershave or shaving cream or lavender wasn't something that appealed to me because my nose wasn't mature, or I didn't have the experience with those notes to appreciate it. But man, oh man, now, I bought Sheep Palatin. No, not Sheep Palatin. I bought the name of this. It's the Gourmand fragrance I purchased from MDCI, and I got this as a gift. Sprayed it on, and it blew my mind. Every aspect of this fragrance is top-notch quality, but it does not require a suit. This is the fragrance that you're dressing down. This is the fragrance that you're wearing, maybe a polo, maybe a jean shirt, some ripped jeans. or maybe a polo slack and some loafers. It's just one of the more elegant, mature fragrances that I can see you chilling on your boat, chilling on the poolside, or you just got a haircut and you're going shopping and you want to smell your best while you're going to spend a little money. Get this in your collection. This is an extraordinary fragrance that you need to get your nose on, especially you new guys that just jumped into the fragrance game. MDCI Evasion Barber, fantastic fragrance. Let's go on to the next ones. Welcome to the Extraordinary Gentleman portion of GQ Fragrances. So, you guys, I'm pretty sure y'all get the theme of what I'm doing here, right? I wanted to show you different layers of what I consider GQ. And as you can see, different fragrances are suited for different occasions. And these fragrances here are absolutely suited for tuxedos. As you see, I'm wearing a tuxedo. These fragrances I got here are suited for ballrooms, award ceremonies, holiday parties, and special events. And man, honestly, these are absolutely some of my favorite fragrances in my collection. But one exception, and that fragrance that is the exception is the next fragrance on this list. This fragrance commands your attention because of the complicated, complex note pyramid and breakdown that this has. This is Herba Pura from Suspiro. This is one of the newest fragrances in my collection, and it's a leather-based fragrance. Now, you probably ask me, Ron, why would you consider a leather-based fragrance tuxedo worthy? It's because this fragrance is such a twist and turn and just somersault of a take on a leather fragrance, because it starts off with this fruit note that is unique and usually, typically in the tropical fruit category. And that fruit that I'm talking about is passion fruit. You got passion fruit mixed with, grapefruit and, all the citruses that you know, but it's met with this worn old leather note. So you have something that smells like an old leather jacket, maybe a biker's jacket, mixed with this passion fruit. The combination of elegant meets rugged is what made me say this is kind of the John Wick of fragrances, in my opinion. Always dressed up nice, in a black suit, tuxedo, but man, that man is dangerous. And that is this fragrance right here. You gotta be a daring, confident man to wear this fragrance. But if you can pull it off, fantastic fragrance. Definitely a GQ fragrance in my opinion. And one of the newest fragrances in my collection. I cannot wait to review this for you guys. Get your nose on it. This next fragrance I have in my collection, I've had for about 5 years. And this is the fragrance I call James Bond in the bottle. This is the playboy, the guy that takes no nonsense. He doesn't go to the women come to him. Any place he goes, he has either a tuxedo, a smoker's jacket, or a blazer on. And that fragrance I'm talking about is Dignified by House of Sillage. This is James Bond in a bottle. If I could wrap that man up in a bottle, this would be it. It actually looks like a tuxedo. When I tell you, the saffron in this took me for a spin, because it's rare that you find a saffron that invokes all of the characteristics that you're used to, but amps it up to level 10. The smoothness, the slight peppery spiciness, the almost hint of smokiness that goes behind the saffron. and the sweetness. This fragrance is a gorgeous fragrance. We got oud, saffron, and vetiver. And you also have, I think it's a hint of either nutmeg or clove. I can't remember. But it's like a herbal nuttiness that comes with the dry down mixed with the egglewood. Another dangerous, daring, but invigorating fragrance. And it definitely is going on the GQ fragrance list. Man, if you haven't got this fragrance, do not sleep on it. I'm telling you, it is worth every penny. And look out for the House of Cigars. They are always doing like 40% off, 30% off, sometimes 50% off of these fragrances in the men's collection. Don't miss out on it. You can thank me later. What can I say about this next fragrance house that hasn't been said already? It's refined. It is held to some of the higher standards when it comes to niche perfumery. I mean, come on, it wears the royal crown as its cap. You guys know what I'm talking about. This is Clive Christian. And the fragrance that could not be left off this list is Cypress. Come on, man. Cypress is regal. Absolutely stunning. This fragrance, without any question, is a masterpiece. The breathtaking green note that comes out of here from the opening petitgreen, combined with this citrus slash barbershop cypress that comes off, that is fresh, almost sweet aftershave, and the dry down is this gorgeous, flawless amber note. If you're looking for a fragrance that makes you smell and feel like royalty, you got to get this in your collection. Yes, it is pricey, but it is well worth every penny and absolutely deserves to be on the GQ fragrance list. Let's go on to the next one. Now, I need y'all to get ready because I'm going to show you the last fragrance that's on this fragrance list. And a lot of you probably have heard of it, but more of you haven't. Or I can say this, you haven't tried it. And I'm here to tell you, this fragrance is not only my favorite fragrance in my entire collection, but this is one of the best fragrances I've ever smelled in my entire life. And that fragrance comes from the house of Juliet Maud. And that fragrance is Amor di Palazzo. Now, besides this elegant packaging that it comes with, the 50 ml bottle and the 10 ml travel spray, we're not going to talk about the bottle. The bottle design is beautiful, it's gorgeous. If you want to know more about it, go check out my fragrance review. We talk about the juice. This fragrance needs to be in the Hall of Fame of fragrances. This is the fragrance that I wear on my birthday every year. Maybe I missed one. But this, if you want to call something Rome's signature fragrance, this is it. The smoothest, the most refined, most alluring, most seductive fragrance that I have in my collection. We're talking about amber, suede, nutmeg, spices, oud. And you're probably saying, Rome, that's two fragrances that you said oud in them, and you're talking about a GQ fragrance. Oud is usually smells like barnyard or fecal or animalic. Not if it's done right. Sometimes you can get a little bit of that animalistic feel from some of these fragrances, but if the egglewood is aged properly, or you put just enough in it to give it a little bit of weight, a little bit of character, it comes off pristine. And that's what this does. The projection is gorgeous. You can smell it through the entire room. Wafts of it. Spraying it on my skin, it doesn't hit me with a bunch of alcohol, you just smell a beautiful nutmeg, almost a resinous amber, and the egglewood is so refined, so smooth. The composition of the notes are blended so effortlessly. One of the best fragrances ever created. There is not a day that I'm not going to wear this when I'm not wearing a suit or a tuxedo. It is, in my opinion, worthy of nothing less. Now, that might be a little dramatic to some of y'all, but that'll probably be the people that haven't smelled this yet. This is a fantastic fragrance. Absolutely GQ. If you want to look up GQ in a dictionary, I'm going to tell you a little secret. You're going to see this bottle standing right there. Right? So, that right there, if you can say my number one GQ fragrance. Now, to be honest, none of these were numbered and listed in a way where some are better than others. If I decide to put numbers in there, that's just to keep track on the fragrances I've had in the video. But all of these fragrances are fantastic in its own way. All of these fragrances deserve to be in your GQ list. And they are some of the best fragrances created, in my opinion. If you consider yourself a gentleman, a suave, cool, calm, collective man, then that's what I consider myself. I've never been considered a rah-rah alpha male. No slight to those guys. We need those guys in the world. I've never been a super loud guy, wanting to be the center of attention in the party. Not my style. I've always considered myself to be very laid back, very chill. I can be funny and goofy at times, but when it comes to dressing the part, I'm not leaving my house without a fresh cut, a nice outfit, and smelling fantastic. And if you can, never forget this. You cannot be GQ if you don't know how to treat the ladies. All right? That's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, like I always say, it's okay if you want to smell like Rome. I'll check you guys out in the next video. Until then, peace. Oh, real quick, just to let you guys know, I look good in this tuxedo, right? I haven't worn this since my birthday, about maybe 4 years ago. I've only worn it one time, man. So I don't want to hear nothing if you see me with this tuxedo out at the party, right? Because it looked good, and it's too good to just be wasting on the video. And I got fully dressed for this, all right? Just wanted to let y'all know that. All right, peace.